can note specific requests with attributes in our system. An attribute can either refer to the driver or to the car. A driver gets classified when he starts in Emess as being bronze, silver, gold or platinum. Obviously the platinum car is the more experienced car. They can also be classified as being reliable. It could be a lady driver. So those are all different attributes that correspond to the driver. The car will have a completely different set of attributes. Is it a normal car, a 7-seater, 6-seater, a 5-seater? Is it a 6-seater that's big enough to actually do airport work, which means it can take 5 or 6 passengers plus all the suitcases? A car can be a low car. In other words, it's not a 7-seater, which is important when we transport elderly people because they can't manage a big step to get into the high car. An estate car is another attribute. When we hover over a specific driver, you can have a look at what attributes the driver has. Actually, there's a lot of information about the driver himself. It gives you the driver number, for example, driver 201 with his name, the vehicle registration number that he's driving, and then various attributes. You can see there, ignore the AP, which is airport pickup, and WR, which means this car can do a wait and return job. He's an AC, an air-conditioned car. He can do bronze jobs. He can do estate work. He is a G car, a gold car, etc., etc. So we can see that straight away when we hover over the driver. Now, how do we attribute those jobs? If we go into a call booker, when we press attribute here, we can then say what type of car or driver we want. And we can mix and match it. We can say, for example, I want a 6-seater airport and I would like it to be a lady driver and she's got to be very reliable. I'm not sure whether we'll actually find a driver like this, but that's what we can put down. I've just taken off the male attribute, which is usually set up as a default. Okay, now we say OK. You will see here it's a 6-passenger airport car, which means he can take up to 6 passengers and their luggage. It's a lady driver and I want a reliable driver. We now can start putting the job in. Actually, we've still got our job here from Carmel's last time around, and we can save that. Okay, let's clear this job and let's put a new job in. For example, we're going from 11 Wellington Avenue, here we are, to Euston Station, Euston Station. When we go to the station, the airports, we will always ask, how many people are you? How much luggage do you have? Okay, we are 2 people. No problem. If it's 2 people, name is Stern, our job is ready to go out. Note here, it's got no extra attribute. If now Mrs. Stern would say, actually we're 2 people, but we've got 3 really large suitcases, we'd have to say, not a problem, but I will have to send you an estate car. Now to go to the attribute screen, we can either press attribute or we use the Alt-I, which is underlined here, and we do Alt-I, and it also brings up our attribute screen. We can now press E for estate, which is the easiest way to do it. We now press the spacebar, which ticks it or unticks it. Every time you press the spacebar, it will tick or untick it. And we can say OK. Now let's have a look. It's now got an estate car attribute here. The price has gone up from £14 to £19. If Mrs. Stern now says, actually, you know what, I think we're going to be 5 people, therefore we have to now change the attribute again. We go in here, we take off the estate car, press E, press spacebar, and it's unticked. We don't need a 6 airport car. A 6-passenger car is good enough because they've got 3 suitcases. So we press the 6-passenger. We actually could even press the 5-passenger car because it's only 5 people. So let's do that. We press 5. OK. Why we've specified the difference between 5, 6 and 7 seaters is because we have a lot of cars that only can take 5 people. Most of our MPVs will take 6 people, very, very few 7-seaters. A customer that usually calls up will always say, can I have a 7-seater? Our first question is how many passengers in the car, and therefore use the correct attribute towards it. Now let's have a look at the attribute here. It's a 5-passenger car. It's now gone up to £21, which is 50% more than the basic rate. And again, we're ready to send this job off. Another attribute which we use a lot is a parcel. We go in here and we say, let's first of all take the 5-passenger off. It's a parcel car. We can press P for parcel, and what's going to happen now is it's going to add an extra £1, because parcels always attract an extra £1 charge. Even locally, if we go from Wellington Avenue, let's say to St Kilda's Road, number 4 St Kilda's, it'll be £4 rather than the £3. If you have a look at the bottom of the screen here, you can see different attributes are against jobs which are actually due to go out soon. We've got here an estate parcel car. So in other words, it must be a lot of goods that go into a car without anybody going with it. So it's just for a parcel. Here we've got a 6-seater job for an experienced driver, a G car that goes from Golders Green back to Stamford Hill. Now you don't have to worry about specifying whether the job needs a G car or an S car. That automatically gets done by the system. Depending on where the job goes, we will then get the right attribute to make sure the car or the driver is experienced enough to carry out this job.